So UFC Fight Night Royval and Cap is the last card of the year, and I, King here MMA, will be giving my picks and odds for through the prelims to the main card. So yeah, let's get it started. And for the first fight on the card, I'm gonna be Janie Lynn Horth versus Teresa Blader. Teresa Blader's pretty young. I'm pretty sure she's 20, isn't she? She's like real young. She hasn't fought since 2023, which is pretty. You know how that is. So yeah, but Jamie Lynn Hall, she's gotten 2 wins in a row. I'm pretty sure that this year, but she's a very mid-average fighter. She did beat Vanessa Demopoulos, which is a pretty good win, and she lost to Miranda Maverick back in December, so about a year ago. You know, Miranda Maverick's a pretty good fighter, but for Teresa Blader, her last fight was in 2023, so it's been 2 years since she's fought, over 2 years. I don't know, man, because it's been, like I said, it's been 2 years since Teresa Blader has fought. But Jamie Lynn Horth, it's a hard fight, you know, it's women fighting. But I think I'm going to go Teresa Blader by decision. She's the younger fighter. She looked more impressive 2 years ago, and hopefully she's gotten better. The odds are Jamie Lynn Horse $2.30 and Teresa Blader is $1.60. So yeah, I'm going for Teresa Blader by decision. And for the next fight, don't know these two. That is the honest opinion. It's heavyweights. Haven't really done my tape on any of these two, both debuting. So obviously, you just got to go off. I don't know. You go off looks, I guess. They're pretty even. I'm gonna go off Graham Pat. Yeah, I I just like the way he looks, and the odds say Graham Pat's $1.57 and Alan Fry Jr.'s $2.40. This is a pick'em. I don't know who's gonna win this. So yeah, that's my picks. And for Melissa Croden, you know, she's okay. She's one of the good fighters from Canada. It's funny, all the good fighters from Canada or chicks. And her last fight was I forget her name. Lisboa. Yeah, Lisboa, she's a pretty impressive opponent to beat. She knocked her out. It was very like not pitter patter, but you know, she was coming forward with the strikes. 1, 2, up the middle. You know, Luana Santos. Luana Santos is pretty good. She beat Lisboa as well. But she lost to Casey O'Neill, which isn't the best look. I'm pretty sure that was a robbery decision. I don't know, man. A lot of chick fights. I think this is another pick'em. I guess Luana Santos. She's just had more wins. She's like fought in the UFC more. I'm gonna go to pick him. I'm gonna go Luana Santos by decision. I think Melissa Croden ain't that ready for the UFC yet. Melissa Croden's $2.11, while Luana Santos is $1.70. So yeah. On to the next fight. Sean Sheriff versus Stephen Asplund. They both kind of suck. You know what I mean? Sean Sheriff took a short notice fight against Junior Tafa. Junior Tafa sucks. The Tafa brothers are terrible. And for Stephen Asplund, this is his debut. Dude's looking real flabby. This is another pick 'em fight again. So many pick 'em fights on this card. They're really top to bottom with nobodies. But any guy that's losing to Junior Tafa, I don't trust, man. Especially in round 2. You let Junior knock you out in round 2. And I'm pretty sure they were both gassed. So I'm going to go Stephen Asplund by knockout. Sean Sheriff's $2.90, while Stephen Asplund's $1.40. Shit, I got the hiccups. Now this is a weird one. Boom. Neil Magny, the best cockroach in the UFC. Neil Magny, his last 2 wins were Jake Matthews and... Was it Mike Malott? No, it was Zaleski dos Santos. His only 2 losses... if you look at all of Neil Magny's last few fights, it's like Jake Matthews subbed him, KO'd Zaleski dos Santos, His only other losses in his last 5 fights was Carlos Prates and Miles Morales. They're both top 10 contenders, top 5. But Yaroslav Amosov, he was the Bellator welterweight champion, if I'm not wrong. Battle hardened, sort of fucking, he's really he was good in Bellator. I know we've said this about a lot of Bellator fighters. We just saw Aaron Pico get knocked out. This story is just looking a lot like Neil Magny is going to come back. But I've seen Yaroslav Amosov. I don't want to choose against Neil Magny because I'll choose against him. And then it's like, well, you see, I'm going to come back in round 3, which he does all the time. It's insane how much he does that. But I have to go Yaroslav Amosov. He's only ever had 1 loss out of 29 fights, which is, no matter who you are, that's still a good record. I think Neil Magny's getting finished by TKO. But don't be surprised if Magny pulls some shit out of his butt. But yeah, on to the next fight. We have Jordan Anderson Brito versus... The odds were obviously Neil Magny's $4.10 and Yaroslav Amosov is $1.20. So yeah. But yeah, next fight is Jordan Anderson Brito versus... So this is wrong. I've got the... he's an Aussie, actually, this other fella. Isaac Thompson. Isaac Thompson's making his debut. He was in LFA. I think he was supposed to fight for a title at featherweight, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, so Isaac Thompson's 5-0. It's his UFC debut. And Jordan Anderson Brito, he's lost his last 2 to Pat Sabatini, who's the best grappler in the division, and William Gomez, who's, fucking very boring pity-patty decision striker. As much as I love as long as I love me countryman, I gotta go Jordan Anderson Brito. Bro, he's so good. But Isaac Thompson's good as well. But I think Jordan Anderson Brito's just got that UFC experience. And, when you're beating... his wins aren't that good when you look at the wins. But he's been beating them. Very good. So, Jordan Anderson Brito's $1.43 and Isaac Thompson is $2.80. So yeah, I'm going Brito by finish. And for the next fight, this is actually banger, believe it or not. Amanda Lemos versus Gillian Robinson has big stakes in strawweight. Amanda Lemos, she's just had an unfortunate... she's a win-loss fighter. That's hard to describe Lemos. She lost against Zhang Wei Li, got fucking dominated, won against Stern, lost to Jandiroba. It's weird. Then wins against Lasman Lucindo, but then loses to Tatiana. It's just a very win-loss fighter. She's just very inconsistent. She hasn't gone on a win streak in ages. While Gillian Robinson, she's put up she's on a 4-fight win streak, and her last loss was Tabitha Ritchie, where she couldn't get her to the ground. but she's more of a winning fighter than Amanda Lemos, which I'm very surprised. Like, you know. Anyway, I think Jillian Robinson's gonna win. She's kept on upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. I think Jillian Robinson's gonna win by submission. Amanda Lemos has really struggled with a lot of these grapplers. So yeah, I've got Jillian Robinson beating Amanda Lemos by a TKO or a submission in the round 2. Jillian Robinson's $1.50 and Amanda Lemos is $2.60. The next fight is Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Marcus Buchecha. Kennedy Nzechukwu, he's not half bad. His last loss was to Walter Walker. Walter Walker heel hooks nearly every heavyweight, so can't feel that bad. But it's hard to... I don't know, man. His last 2 wins were Lucas Brzezinski. Lucas Brzezinski sucks. And his other win was Chris Barnett, which Chris Barnett... We all know how good Chocolate Pepper Pig is. Chocolate Pepper Pig. But anyway, that's besides that. I don't think Marcus Buchecha is all that... Like, he lost to Martin Buday, which... It's not the worst loss in hindsight. I don't know, man, because I could honestly see Marcus Buchecha trying to get him Kennedy Nzechukwu to the ground. But also, this is a very 50-50 fight. I'm gonna go Kennedy Nzechukwu. He's got those like he was a light heavyweight. He had some really good wins at light heavyweight originally. He beat Carlos Hulberg, who's now fighting for the light heavyweight title, but that was back in 2021, so you can't really give that. And he's looked good in these fights, so he's looked good at heavyweight. So I'm going Kennedy Nzechukwu by KO. Kennedy Nzechukwu is $1.70 and Marcus Buchecha is $2.10. So yeah, I got Kennedy Nzechukwu by a KO. For the next fight, Michael Costa versus Morgan Charrier. This is a banger fight. This is a banger. Michael Costa is the first UFC fighter with vitiligo. So vitiligo is like discoloration of the skin. Although you can't really see it on him here, which is strange. Maybe it's across the face here. But anyway, besides that, you'll probably see it. Like Michael Costa, I'm pretty sure he's on a win streak. Yeah, he's on a 4-fight win streak. But the win streaks here and there. He had a split decision with Julian Rosa. Julian Rosa is a pretty good fighter. Christian Rodriguez is a really good fighter. Andre Fili is a really good featherweight. And those are his last 3 wins. Super impressive. He's like good in the striking, good in the jiu-jitsu. And Morgan Charrier, he's more of a kickboxer sort of bloke. Very win-loss fighter. He KO'd Nate Landwehr. But he kind of went to war with Nate Landwehr. And I don't really rate him that much. So it's kind of... I don't know how to feel about his wins and his losses. It's just... I think Morgan Charrier, I don't think he's at like the level of a top 20 fringe of the featherweight rankings. I think Michael Costa is a future top 15 guy. So I'm going to go Michael Costa by decision. Maybe even probably a decision. Morgan Charrier is only losing by decision. Michael Costa's got that IQ. So yeah. It's a pick'em. But Morgan Charrier is like $1.90 and Michael Costa's $2. So yeah. Those are the odds for that fight. And for middleweight, Cesar Almeida, he fought Alex Pereira in kickboxing. He got a nasty KO over Absul Malik. You know who I'm saying. And, that's probably knockout of the year, if I'm honest. But it's strange, man, because, He lost to Roman Kopylov, and I don't really rate Roman Kopylov, but Roman Kopylov had the use of grappling. And Cesar Olajaychek, he's the brother of Michael Olajaychek. He looked alright on the Dana White Contender Series, but I just, for a debut, you're facing like one of the best kickboxers in the UFC middleweight division. I think I'm gonna go Cesar Almeida by a TKO or knockout. He's got like nasty power in his hands, and I really think he's gonna be a problem in the middleweight division. Like Cesar Olajaychek's a really good fighter, but I haven't seen enough from him in the UFC. While Cesar Almeida, he fucking knocked out Al Hassan, who's not a bad fighter in himself, Abdul Razak Al Hassan. So I'm going Cesar Almeida for around 1 or 2 KO, and the odds are crazy. Cesar Almeida's $2.80, and Cesar Olajaychek is $1.40, which is crazy odds. So yeah, that's my. This is a banger fight though. It's great. And for the next fight, for the co-main event, we've got Giga Chikadze versus Kevin Vallejos. I think Giga's just. I think he's washed. I think he's 6 foot. Damn, a featherweight. I didn't realize. I'm gonna ignore that. But he's just in his last few performances, he's just looked so lackluster. Like the fight against David Onama, he could have won that fight, but he's going life and death with David Onama, who looked fucking horrible against Steve Garcia. Then he got like outstruck by Arnold Allen. He went life and death with Alex Caceres. I honestly, that doesn't look good, and I think as he's getting older, I think that doesn't look as good. But then Kevin Vallejos is a young up-and-coming dude from Argentina. His last 2 wins have looked very good against Danny Silva, and he knocked out Suhu Choi, which that's crazy the way he knocked him out. Made him on the wobbly legs. But yeah, I think Kevin Vallejos is going to win by I think we're going to see him TKO Giga Chikadze. I think, honestly, we can see that in this fight. And Giga's $3.40, while Kevin Vallejos is $1.30. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. And Kevin Vallejos is just going to come on the inside and give it the devastating right hand. So yeah, that's a good fight. And for the main event, we've got Brandon Royval and versus Manel Kape. A lot of people saying this is a title eliminator. I don't think so. It's real hard because it's like Brandon Royval, he's lost to he's lost to the best of the division. He's not losing that often. His last loss was Van in that short notice bout. Van's the champ now. But that fight was super close. Like, that last round, he could have won if he didn't get dropped. And it was an awesome fight. Very close. He beat Tatsuro Taira. Taira's getting the next title shot. He beat Brendan Moreno. Brendan Moreno still looked very impressive. He lost to Alexander Pantoja, but that was a pretty close fight. And I've seen way more from Brandon Royval that I like instead of Manel Kape. Don't get me wrong, Manel Kape's really good, but he struggled a bit with Asu Ambabayev. Bruno Silva ain't really much, and Muhammad Makayev, he's got to get re-signed and he's really good, but he struggled he had nothing for him on the ground, which I just don't see what all the hype with Manel Kape is, unless Manel Kape goes out there and just slimes out Brandon Royval, which I don't see happening. So yeah, I'm going with Brandon Royval. I think I've seen not so much more, and he's fought UFC competition for so much longer. But yeah, so Brandon Royval's $3.35 and Manel Kape's $1.33. That's insane. Yeah, so that's my picks for UFC Fight Night, Royval vs. Kape. Yeah, I really got nothing to say. It's the last card of the year. I hope it's good. There's some nice names in there, but it's not super stacked. A lot of heavyweight slop that I've noticed. But yeah, man, listen. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.